There are going to be a lot of new Toyota Kluger videos, but this one will probably be the very first Australian one where someone's actually lived with it. I've done the school runs in it, the shopping trips, the swimming lessons. I've lived with this car like you'll live with this car. That's because the Toyota Kluger is an Aussie family favourite. It's the streets Viennetta of SUVs. It's the car equivalent of Hungry Hippos. It's the transport version of Dunlop KT26s. And that is the new generation Kluger right there. And at the end of this video, you're gonna know how much it costs and what you get for your money. You're gonna know how practical it is and what it's like to drive. Now those are the time codes right there. Think of it as a department store. You can just walk in and get the kettle and get the hell out of there, or you can browse. And if you're watching on YouTube, down there are the chapter markers. Do what you like with them. And if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au and give us a like and subscribe. Design. Even though this 4th generation Kluger is a completely new car, it still looks like a Kluger. That's the old one, and this is the new one. Actually, the new Kluger looks more like a RAV4 with its moustache-like grille and blade headlights, only it's much bigger. Talking of bigger, those are the dimensions of the Kluger right there. It's 76mm longer, 25mm higher, and 5mm wider. Inside, it's new but sort of familiar as well. This is the GXL grade, which is right in the middle of the range, but all grades get this spoon-like feature on the dashboard which holds the media screen and climate control dials. Now it seems pretty impressive, but that screen is tiny by today's standards at 8 inches, and it's on every grade. The screens that come on the higher grades of the Kia Sorento and Hyundai Palisade are enormous. I have to say their cabins feel more modern and premium than this too. It's time to talk prices. Price and features. So there are 3 grades in the Toyota Kluger lineup. It starts with the GX, sets up to the GXL, and at the top of the range is the Grande. I always feel very special when I say Grande. Grande. You can get those in all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive, and they also come with a V6 petrol and a hybrid. Standard features, yeah, we're getting there. Coming standard on the GX are LED headlights, 18-inch alloy wheels, fabric seats, the 8-inch media display with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a proximity key with push-button start, leather steering wheel, and a 6-speaker stereo. Oh, there's aircon as well for the front and second row, but if you get the hybrid GX, it's proper 3-zone climate control. The GXL scores roof rails, a power tailgate, sat-nav, 3-zone climate control, heated driver and front passenger seats. Oh, and no, that's not real leather. If you want genuine leather seats, then you'll need to step up to the Grande, which also has ventilated front seats, an 11-speaker JBL stereo, a head-up display, moonroof, gesture tailgate, and 20-inch wheels that are shinier than the sun. Engine and transmission. Oh. Like in the previous model, the Toyota Kluger comes with a V6 petrol engine. It also has an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's pretty good. But the big news is that for the very first time, the Toyota Kluger comes with a hybrid system. That's it right there. It comes with a 4-cylinder petrol engine and an electric motor. But the brake towing capacity for both the V6 petrol and the hybrid is 2,000 kilos. Fuel economy. Toyota says that after a combination of open and urban roads, the V6 petrol should be getting those mileages right there. As you can see, not much point choosing the front-wheel drive if you're looking to save fuel. Their mileages are almost identical. If you're looking to save fuel, go the hybrid. That's what Toyota says you should get right there. We tested it. That's what we got. Practicality. Okay, so before you come in, I want to apologise because of the state of the place. As I said, my family and I have been living in this car. We haven't been living in the car. We've got somewhere to live. Don't worry, it's all good. But it's just a pigsty. Okay, so come on in. I'll take you to the front first. Come on. Okay, so like I'm pretty big. I'm 191 centimeters tall, and I've got a 2 meter wingspan. I can actually put my hands outside both sides of the car at the same time. But there aren't many cars where I feel tiny in, and I feel minute in the Kluger. The cabin is enormous. In fact, it's so big that when I sit here in the driver's seat, my elbow doesn't even reach the armrest. It just goes straight down. I feel like it's a giant's car. Storage is quite good. There's bottle holders here in the door, which are good for bottles, and I love this center console bin. It can just fit so much stuff. There's room for a dolphin and a beach towel there, a child's sneaker, a snake, binoculars. That's not mine. It's massive, but let me show you the back actually in terms of legroom. Second row, let's go. Oh. Oh. Right, there we go. Now, this seat's in my driving position, and check out this. That's outrageous legroom. Now in the back here, we've got a really flat floor which goes across. We've got air conditioning controls in the back as well, and storage back here is really good too. We've got door pockets for carrots in the back. We've got cup holders for dinosaurs, and everyone that's got kids know that these don't just hold cups, they also hold shells and rocks and all that type of thing. There's also mat pockets here. I'm really sorry again, I haven't taken my son's child seat out either. He's been sitting here, but you should also know that the smaller section of the seat on the curb side folds forward to let people into the third row, which is a lot easier than having to slide forward the larger of the sections on the curb side. But let me show you the third row now. You'll be surprised. Actually, I'm going to move this seat forward a little bit, and like so. Where is it? There it is there. So my knees still aren't touching, but watch this. I'm going to get into the third row. Oh. Okay, so third row. Yeah, it's not very good. Well, it's not very good for me, not at 191 centimeters tall. Well, it's going to be fine for kids, and hey, look, if your kids are as tall as me, then it's time for them to get their own car, right? But back here, you've got two cup holders on both sides. You've got air vents on either side as well. Ooh. Oh. What the hell? That reminds me, let me show you the boot. Just give us a tick. Okay, now with all three rows up, you've got quite a decent boot space there. I mean, the third row folded flat gets even better. Now there's no wireless charging for your phone, but there are USB ports. There's those ones there and those ones there. Safety. Safety. All Toyota Klugers come with AEB with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's recross traffic alert and lane keeping assistance across the entire range. That's excellent. There's 7 airbags, but the third row airbags don't cover the entire third row. For child seats, the second row has ISOFIX mounts on the outside seats and 3 top tether points across the second row as well. The third row does not have ISOFIX mounts or top tether points. Ownership. The new Kluger is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is really, really good. What is really, really, really good though is the cap price servicing. It's every 12 months and 15,000 kilometres, and it's only $250 per visit. Let's go for a drive. Driving. All right, we're ready to drive, ready to rock and roll. Oh my God. Sorry, didn't realize I still had those on. All right, now just a reminder, we are in the hybrid variant of the Kluger, and it's the GXL grade, so it's the middle of the range in terms of the Kluger lineup. I have driven the V6 though. Driven the V6 in front wheel drive and all wheel drive. It's it's old school in that it's got plenty of grunt, plenty of torque, but you know, it's got plenty of thirst as well. This though, the hybrid, I've been living with this one for a couple of days. We'll turn that on. There we go. It's a hybrid, so it makes no noise when you start it. You put it into drive and you also drive away completely silently, just like that. That's actually been one of my favorite things about it, like driving around shopping center car parks just completely silently, scaring people. They're not scaring people, just a little bit. Anyway, did the school run in this yesterday, and a couple of things I found were, it's big. Like, it was like the battle of the 7-seaters on the school run, actually. You know, CX-9 sort of like jostling places with Klugers, and I was the only person in a brand new Kluger. But one of the things that I discovered was that because it's so big, I had trouble trying to find a spot which would fit me. It's a big car. If you drive a Kluger already, or a Kia Carnival or something like that, you'll know the pain. But at the same time, if you've got a few kids, it's kind of your only option. You need those extra seats. One of the things I've noticed straight away about driving the Kluger, this new generation Kluger, is that it's much better to drive than the previous one. The previous one felt quite heavy and the ride was quite firm. This is kind of the opposite. Even though it's an enormous car and I'm looking out across this big muscly bonnet, I feel like I'm driving a truck, it actually feels quite light. It feels quite nimble. The steering is really light. You can put it into sport mode and that makes it a bit heavier, but just around town you leave it in normal mode and it's just, the steering is just so easy. Like just going through here now, that's just 2 fingers and that's so easy. It's also really accurate. You're so big you feel like you're going down the Suez Canal in a big freighter ship, but at the same time the steering is so accurate that it doesn't wander. Like some SUVs that you drive they kind of sort of meander like a cow all over the street, but this is really direct and accurate steering. I quite like it. Now in terms of the ride, it's different from the old one in that it feels a lot more comfortable, but it's a little bit more floaty, so it doesn't feel as sporty to drive. But I think for the city, this hybrid is perfect. All right, so when I say hybrid, I don't mean plug-in hybrid. Don't, whatever you do, try to plug the Kluger in anywhere. It's not a plug-in, there's no cable. No, instead the batteries are recharged when you brake. So there's 2 electric motors at the front axle and 1 electric motor at the rear axle, and they work in combination with a 2.5 litre petrol engine. If you are worried about the hybrid not having the same grunt as the V6, well look, it's not a sports car, but at the same time, if you've driven a hybrid before, you'll know that when you're cruising along just like this, you can dab the accelerator and the electric motor adds these little electric shoves to your progress, and it's quite satisfying. And acceleration is not too bad in the hybrid at all either. So the big takeaways from the driving experience here is that the new Kluger is easy to drive and it's enjoyable to drive and better to drive than the last one.
Verdict.
Okay, it is time to give the entire Kluger range a score out of 10. Now for design, I'm giving it a 7. Look, it doesn't look as nice as the CX-9. It's not as high-end feeling as, say, a Sorento. 7 out of 10. For price and features, I'm giving it an 8. That is a good value car. No one's going to give you a hard time at a barbecue that you've paid too much for it. 8 out of 10 for price and features. Now for practicality, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Decent sized boot, pretty good cabin storage. It's missing wireless charging, but it does have big wide opening doors. I think whoever invented this car was a parent. 8 out of 10. For safety, I'm giving it an 8. All grades from the top to the bottom come with the same safety equipment. Great to see. 8 out of 10. For the engine and transmission, I'm giving it an 8. Look, you've got a choice of the V6 or you've also got the petrol electric hybrid. Fantastic. 8 out of 10. Now, for fuel economy, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Yes, the V6 petrol is quite thirsty, but then there's that, the hybrid. Awesome stuff. 8 out of 10. Now for ownership, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Not only is there a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, but servicing costs are capped at $250 per year for 5 years. That is outstanding. 9 out of 10. Now for driving, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Great barrier reef. That is so much better to drive than the last one. It feels a lot lighter, a lot nimbler, and look, it still feels big, but it's good to drive as well. And now the score for the entire Kluger range is 8 out of 10. Now remember, if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au and give us a like and subscribe.
You know it's raining, right? We'll go home.
Yep. Let's go home.